Not too long ago, I saw that Apple revealed the iPhone 16. Of course, it's been a meme now for years that with every Apple iPhone release, it's like they change almost nothing. And while the memes are somewhat over-exaggerated, there still seems to be some truth to them. But it isn't just Apple, let's not get it twisted. It seems that there's been a lot of companies in the last decade or so, probably even longer if you really think about it, that just have been almost allergic to the idea of innovation, of taking their designs and updating them and actually creating something new or something improved, actually taking the technology that we have and applying it in a way where you'll actually have a product that is different, that is futuristic, that is the future. For some reason, it seems that a lot of companies nowadays are allergic to the idea of creating new things. Instead, they just kind of let their competitors do that, and then they take that and just tweak it a little bit to make it their own, to not really violate copyright. It's like the corporate version of your friend letting you copy his homework, but then telling you to just tweak it a little bit so that it's not obvious. So why is it that so many companies seem to be so afraid to come up with new ideas, to improve and update their designs so that they're actually different, so that they're actually improved? But before I answer that, I have two quick announcements. Timestamp is below in case you don't care. First, October and spooky season is upon us. So for the entirety of the month of October, I'm going to be putting out a special batch of design bits. And for those of you who are not following the bits, they're on YouTube Shorts, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. It's all bite-sized design content. For October, I'll be putting out a special batch of them. These design bits are going to be used to showcase creepier, spookier, or just straight up weird stories coming out of the world of design. And it's going to be one new one every day of October. So 31 new design bits every day of October for spooky season. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on TikTok and Instagram so that you can take a look at those when they come out. Secondly, for any of you that are into Apex Legends, first off, I am sorry that you are subjected to such torment and pain. But the boys and I will be competing in the BLGS qualifiers on October 19th. So I will be streaming that on Twitch and here on YouTube, but I'm still kind of figuring out the kinks with that. So in the case that I can't co-stream, follow me on Twitch and you will be able to see us playing through the qualifiers there. None of us have ever played Comp Apex, so this is definitely going to be an interesting experience both for us and for you guys viewing. So come along, take a watch and support the boys, and let's see if we can make it any length of success in that tournament. All right, on with the video. While Apple isn't the only company that has been more recently just lacking innovation, I want to start there because one, it's a recent announcement that they had. Two, it just feels like they're a very big target. There's a lot of eyes on them. So I want to start with the bigger, more obvious thing. The average lifespan of a phone is about 2 to 3 years. Now, assuming that you are a person that, well, doesn't like to update their phone that often, then we're going to just try to stretch this time out to about 5 years, just to really give a good measure of time. So we're going to consider someone that bought an iPhone back in 2019 and is now ready to upgrade. Is it still worth it to go from the 2019 iPhone to now? But, you know, just on a general basis, if you are this person, please, for the love of God, upgrade. It's been way too long. You're pushing it. 5 years ago, 2019, was the release of the iPhone 11. The 11 was the first iPhone to get that big obnoxious square on the back where the cameras live, and it's held its ground for the past 5 years, at least in the Pro models. All the lower trim models got reductions in this regard, but still held similarly. The exterior form didn't take much of a shift besides going from filleted edges to the flat edge plateau look of the earlier iPhones, just refined. The 5-year span saw the screen get stretched out more towards the edges while the notch at the top got smaller and cleaner. So in terms of visual design of the iPhone from the 11 to the 16, you aren't getting mind-numbing differences, but if it ain't broke, why fix it? Besides, you have to be very careful when designing something too differently. You kind of need to keep the brand's visual style and design language intact. That's a lot of what makes up a brand's identity. It's very important to marketing and of course customer loyalty. It also just kind of helps keep the brand's identity ingrained in the products. But design isn't just about visual style, it's also about the features that are, well, put into the product. So then how drastic have the improvements been on the iPhone? Well, the 16 is definitely faster with a much more improved processor as well as a much more improved GPU. So compared to the 11, the speed and the graphics processing power is much improved, but of course it's been 5 years, 5 different generations of processors and GPUs. It's also kind of just expected. That almost seems like the bare minimum of things that need to be upgraded. What about the other new features? Well, okay, there's this really nice, better rear camera. And the front and ultra wide cameras are like, they're like a smidge better. Oh, and we have AI now. Yeah. It's not all that different from existing AI stuff, but I mean, it has the Apple logo on it. Is that can't be it, right? Okay. So I won't sit here and over-exaggerate like crazy. Of course, there have been new features released. But for 5 years' time, it's almost like, I feel like not a lot of people can actually list what they are. A good chunk of them are things that aren't normally used on a daily basis. And the things that aren't groundbreaking or new. I mean, look recently at some of the things that are coming with the new iPhone and the new version of iOS. There is a damn currency converter on the calculator. That's cool. Except the fact that Google could already do that, and so could Android. I've had a Samsung for years. I've never had an iPhone. I've been able to do that normally. I really did think that was just normal. Like, I thought that all my friends with iPhones could do that too. Come to now find out this is new. With the new update, they'll also be able to upgrade their command center, their control panel thing. That's really nice. I've also been able to do that. Now, I'm not trying to seem like a crazy Android standing crazy prick that hates everything Apple, but it's like, just on a objective level, this is kind of sad that this is what we're considering great innovation nowadays when it's not new. Okay, what about another company? Let's look at Sony with the PlayStation. Not too long ago, the PS5 Pro was announced. Design-wise, at least physically on the outside, it's almost identical to the normal PS5. Feature-wise, well, it has a better performing GPU, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven image upscaling, and, well, those are the main improvements. Of course they are. Okay. And it costs $700! What the fuck? Okay. Wow, that's a little steep for a console at least. In 4 years since the PS5's release, this is the level of innovation that is brought forward. Fascinating. So why on earth do companies seem to be so avoidant of innovation and just development? Well, this 2012 article from Forbes puts it pretty well. It's fear. But see, it isn't just fear by itself. It's fear mixed with money. When you have a formula that's proven to work and it makes you the big bucks, why change it? You wouldn't shift from that. It's making you money because you know it works. Risk can make you lose money, and that's no bueno. But then you see your competitor take a risk, and that risk works out. But of course, before they took that risk, they had no clue if it was gonna work. It could have fumbled miserably. But they did it. They made something new, and it paid off. So now, what do you do as a company? Well, you take that concept, you tweak it a little bit, and call it your own. You try making something about it better to convince your audience to use yours instead of theirs, but realistically, they're very similar to each other. This sort of competition is what has led to innovation throughout the entirety of time. Prime examples that I can think of that come off straight to the top of my head: Mazda with the first generation Miata, or Amazon with online retail. Few people at Mazda believed in the Miata because no one at the time wanted a sports car. Everyone was focused on reliable, fuel-efficient vehicles. The president of Mazda even considered pulling the plug mere months before the car's release, when it was already fully developed and ready to be sent to the factories. But he didn't, and it went on to become the best-selling sports car in the world. To this day, still is. No one thought the internet was the future of retail back when Bezos decided to start his online bookstore, Amazon. As he started to expand and sell more things on Amazon, it grew like crazy. And now look at it. It's one of the most profitable and highest valued companies in the world. Innovation requires risk, and risk means potentially losing a lot of money. But that's just kind of the game. You have to play it. A lot of companies, though, seem to not want to take that risk anymore. And instead, they hold out and see if their competitor is the one that takes that risk, so that they can kind of start mooching off of it. But the problem comes when you have a lot of companies taking that mentality. Oh, I'll just wait till my competitor tries it, then I'll do it. Once you start having every company thinking that way, you don't go anywhere. Instead, each company is taking little calculated risks, just tiny ones. They're only making minor improvements to kind of gauge where their audience's minds are gonna go. Oh, they didn't like this tiny little thing we did. Okay, we only lose a tiny amount of money on that. They didn't like that. We're not gonna go that way. But that kind of causes innovation to stagnate, to slow to a crawl, where things are barely developing or really getting anywhere. They released the small little upgrades almost like on a subscription-like basis, really. Competition drives innovation. It's been like that forever. But nowadays, it feels like it hasn't developed anything new, and it's been more of a who can make the current existing technology look prettier competition. So how do you even get innovation sparking again? Well, in the same way that taking a chance is risky, having competition is also risky. If you have a competitor that tries something and it works, and they are the ones that start it all, they already have their foot in the door. They are the ones with their foot on the pedal. Again, Amazon is probably the biggest place, the biggest site for online retail in existence because it was first. Other companies that are trying that same thing just aren't on that same level, and they never will be because Amazon established itself first. But to be that first, that requires risk. The most recent example is Tesla's success with electric vehicles. And now you start seeing a lot of other vehicle manufacturers really jumping on that and trying to push more towards electric car development. But even that feels kind of like it's stagnating a little, and like no one really knows where they want to go with it. To spark innovation again, you really just need someone who is willing to step up and take the risk. And honestly, could be any of you. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Follow me on all my socials. All those links are down in the description. And I hope that wherever you guys are, whenever you guys are watching today's video, you have a great, wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.